Attention bowlers, we are going to get started. Welcome back to Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire for the Atlantic Candlepin Singles Tour. I'm Steve Kelly on the call, and this is a doubleheader tonight. Nicholas Cherest at Jamie McKenna and Demetri Dellas at Sarah Wright. It is good as always to have you along with us here in the broadcast booth. The match format is 5 strings with 14 points on offer. 2 points per string, 4 for total pinfall with ties splitting points. It's good as always to have you along with us. This match was live streamed on Tuesday, February 11th, 2025, and is available for rewatching anytime upon the conclusion of this match. And for those interested, I'd like to highlight a few things. First, this broadcast should have subtitles and live captioning enabled, so if you enjoy this feature, please feel free to enable it in the controls below. If you're watching this broadcast on YouTube, the transcript feature will also likely be available. Throughout the match, I'll be describing the play-by-play action. I'll provide up-to-the-minute scoring to the best of my ability. Keep an eye on the unofficial scoreboard on your screen. It is here for the benefit of the broadcast while the bowlers maintain their official book records separately. Scores may be subject to review or correction. I may occasionally pause to verify those scores if things seem out of sync. I appreciate your patience when that happens. If you're watching this on YouTube later on, there may be times where I may include notes in the description if I catch scoring errors in post-production. So please do be sure to check those out. Anyways, if you've never seen Candlepin Bowling, I'd like to extend a warm welcome to you and hope you enjoy what you're watching. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back. Your continued viewership is greatly appreciated. And the hands have been shook, the fives have been hied. Let's play some Candlepin Bowling here in Nashua, New Hampshire on a Tuesday night, starting in just a few moments. And by a few moments, I mean just a few seconds. We're going to lead off tonight as a head-to-head matchup, our Class D matchup between Nicholas Cherest and Jamie McKenna first. And we will be starting again in just a few seconds. Again, this is the Atlantic Candlepin Singles Tour, Class C and D doubleheader. I'm Steve Kelly, way back here. If you can see me at all, I'm kind of in the arcade area, just to give the bowlers some room and some walking area. And we'll start out with Jamie McKenna and Nick Cherest, both bowlers missing the head pin on their first ball. Jamie McKenna with an 8 drop, though, the 1 and the 9. And he's just off a little bit to the left. No spare. Mr. Cherest punches a few more, leaves the 1, the 7, the 9, and the 10. Jamie McKenna will very gently take a 9 box to start out. And Nicholas Cherest will do the same. Here on the Atlantic Candlepin Singles Tour. Actually, we will swap those scores around. The score towers are going to be oriented largely based on the back camera view, but we will occasionally be swapping back and forth. It's Jamie McKenna to the right of the head pin, and Nick Cherest doing the same. Jamie McKenna with a pile of pins. 4 down, 6 up. He's just off the target pin, leaving the target pin. 6-pack for Nicholas Cherest. Punches the 2 and the 8. Jamie McKenna misses off to the left. And Nick Cherest will miss as well. Nick Cherest 6, Jamie McKenna 9. 15 after 2 for Cherest and 18 after 2 for McKenna. Let me talk about Jamie McKenna first, our bowler on the right here. He has a season record of 84-70 with 11 matches played. At home, he's 49-35. Away, he's 35-35, exactly. 1.0 win-loss ratio. And both bowlers off, not on the head pin. Practice ball for Nicholas Cherest. Jamie McKenna was off the right, 6-pack plus 1. Knocks it down to 3, 1, 2, and 5 on the deck. No mark for Jamie McKenna. Nick Cherest on the retry. On the head pin, but a little bit too full. Drops 6, 7, 10, 6, 3 on the second ball. 7, 8, 9, 10 for Jamie McKenna, and he'll split the difference for a 9. And missed it. Nick Cherest figuring out his final ball.
Yeah, a little bit far back. It's all right. Your choice of this.
It was mine. And that's 23 after 3 for Nick Cherest and 27 after 3 for Jamie McKenna.
Let's go, Sarah.
So after 3, it's 23 after 3 for Nick Cherest and 27 after 3 for Jamie McKenna. Jamie McKenna fires. He's off to the left, drops 5. Nick Cherest will take the 7 out. Both bowlers haven't found the headpin just yet here. We'll see if they can find it on the second. Jamie McKenna on the headpin there. Takes 3, leaves 2. 8 and 9 left on the deck. And Cherest on the headpin on the second ball. Leaves all but 2. 8, 9, or 10 for both of our bowlers. Jamie McKenna will take an 8. 35 after 4 for Jamie McKenna. Nick Cherest will do the same for 31 after 4. No headpin shots, no splits, no marks between our Class D matchup so far. Nick Cherest on the left and Jamie McKenna on the right. Jamie McKenna, the home bowler from Leda Lanes with a season record of 98.05, a home average of 99.5, and a away average of 96.32. And there's a headpin shot for Jamie McKenna and a split, 7 drops, 7, 8, 10. Cherest is off to the right. Here comes Jamie McKenna. And he plays the wood. The wood was out a little bit too forward, and the ball was a little bit too full. And Nick Cherest's pins are still mixing. 1, 2, 3, 8. 6 or better. Jamie McKenna, 8 or better. Let's watch. Jamie McKenna will take a 9 for 44 after 5. Nick Cherest has got the 1, 2, 3, 8, and he'll take one more out for a 7 box. And that will be the half for our bowlers. That's 38 after 5 for Nick Cherest. Down by 6 to Jamie McKenna's 44 after 5. And we will now transition to our Class C matchup tonight. It's going to be Demetri Dellas and Sarah Wright. Some head-to-head action here tonight at Leda Lanes on this Tuesday night for some Tuesday night bowling. Great to have you along. We'll start out with Sarah Wright. Sarah Wright's on the headpin and nearly just drops the hammer right out of the gate. Leaves the 10. Demetri Dellas splits 5. 8, 9, 10, 3, 6 for Demetri Dellas. Sarah Wright's just got the 10 pin. It'll be Sarah Wright for a spare, which will start out with a mark. Sarah Wright draws first blood on the marks. Dellas will punch, leaving 3 on the deck. 7, 8, 9, or 10. And he'll take 9 to start out. So it'll be Sarah Wright in the red on your right, Demetri Dellas in the black on your left from the perspective of the back camera. Sarah Wright working on a mark. She's on the headpin. And it looks like it's going to be a split of 7, a late falling 7 fill for Sarah Wright. Dellas on the headpin with a strike. Sarah Wright sails through the center for the spare attempt. Seven or greater for Sarah Wright, 17 after 1. Dellas, 19 and a bonus after 2. Sarah Wright will take 9. We'll take a look at that strike by Demetri Dellas one more time. It's a hammer ball. It was almost like Sarah's ball, except Demetri Dellas took the 10 pin. It's going to be Sarah Wright on the right on lane 12 here at Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire. Sarah Wright leads off. She'll split with 6. Dellas on strike. And he's off to the right. Drops 4 so far. Sarah Wright with a banana split. 7, 10, 4, 6. Right on the banana. She'll take 1, leaving 3. Dellas to complete a strike fill, and oof, it'll be a 4 on the strike fill after all is said and done. Sails through the void. The void stares back at Demetri Dellas, our away bowler tonight. Sarah Wright will take 2 for a 9. And Dellas will clean up for an 8. 31 after 3 for Dellas, 35 after 3 for Sarah Wright. We'll start out talking about Sarah Wright tonight. She has a season record of 75 and 107 with 13 matches played at home. She's 37 and 33. Her home house is here at Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire. Her season average is 102.02. At home, she's an average of 103.04. Sarah Wright's on the head pin nearly with a strike. Drops 9. On the head pin leaves the 8. Demetri Dellas is off to the left of the head pin on his opening pitch. Mixes 5, 1, 3, 7, 8, 10. Sarah Wright versus the 8 pin for a spare. And that will be a spare for Sarah Wright, playing it semi-directly. Playing the wood and bouncing off the wood. Demetri Dellas, no such luck. Takes the wood and takes the 3 pin, leaves the 1, the 7, the 8, and the 10. And it's now out of play. So while we wait for that wood clear, let's get Sarah Wright's spare replay in while we have a spare moment. Pun intended. See, she played the wood but bounced off it. So we're just waiting for the wood clear now. On the 1, the 7, the 8, and the 10 for Demetri Dellas. He missed his mark, so he'll be shooting for a 10 box. Sarah Wright had the spare on the 4th, 45, and a bonus. After 4, she's perfect on the headpin tonight with 2 splits. We thank Nick Cherest for going down to retrieve that wayward pin. That rolled out of play beyond the deadwood line. Demetri Dellas on the 1, 7, 8, and 10. For a 10 box. Connects with the 1, connects with the 7, leaves the other 2 for an 8 box, 39 after 4 for Demetri Dellas. Sarah Wright has a high single of 131, a high 5 of 559 this season. Sarah has 11 strikes, 116 spares, and 173 tens for the season. They're just doing a brief score thingy down there on the score computers. So again, welcome to this doubleheader, Class C and D. It's Nick Cherest, Jamie McKenna, Demetri Dellas, and Sarah Wright. In case you missed it, bowlers are bowling head-to-head tonight. Nick Cherest and Jamie McKenna led off, and Demetri Dellas and Sarah Wright are just wrapping up their first halves so far. I believe the score corrections are all done here. $39 after 4 for Demetri Dellas and $45 after 4 and a bonus for Sarah Wright. Sarah Wright, the home bowler, leads off. She's off to the right of the head pin. She mixes down 6. Demetri Dellas drops 7 on the head pin. Sarah had slow falling pins, so they're going to have to score correct that. And they will, and they have. Sarah Wright's got the 1, the 2, the 9, and the 10 on the deck. Sarah Wright will start off first for the spare. She's on the 1, grazes past the 2 and wiggles it, and the 9 and the 10 are untouched. Demetri Dellas has a complicated piece of wood along the 3, the 6, and the 10. But it doesn't matter. Demetri Dellas will take a spare on that. To end his half with 49 and a bonus. Sarah Wright's final ball of the half will be a 7 box for 58 after 5. So it's still up in the air, but Demetri Dellas is at 49 and a bonus after 5. Sarah Wright at 58 after 5. That's a story for our Class C matchup. But we are going to be heading back to Class D, the Leda Class D for destruction. Let's see some destruction here tonight. That's Nick Cherest to the right of the head pin. Jamie McKenna gets a better mix, but both are not on the head pin. And Cherest leaves the center diamond on his spare attempt, and Jamie McKenna will punch the 7. No mark for either bowler. It's a 6 box or greater for Nick Cherest, and a 7 or greater for Jamie McKenna. Cherest will take 3 and lead the 5. 9 box for Cherest and a 10 box for McKenna. Talk about Nick Cherest, his first time on my program. Season record 46-94. He's played 10 matches and has a .49 win-loss ratio. At home, he's 23-47, and away, he has the same record. And he mixes some pins off to the right. McKenna will drop 9, leaving the 10. Should be a pretty good spare opportunity for Jamie McKenna. Cherest, just off the target pin. Jamie McKenna will take a spare. Double buffered wood, didn't matter. Cherest will clean up for a 9. And we'll see Jamie McKenna's spare coming right up here. Here he goes, he fires. Double buffered wood on the 10. Punches straight forward, exactly what you want. Excuse me, that's a spare for Jamie McKenna. And JJ Cherigny has something to say.
Hi, Kelly.
That was a very special message from JJ Cherigny. Anyways, that's a 9 drop for Jamie McKenna and a 9 fill. And Nick Cherest still working on pins down there. Drops 8 on the second for the 1 and the 2. Jamie McKenna almost gets the double spare, but it's just off. That will be an 8 box for Nick Cherest. And Jamie McKenna will foul it off for a 9. $64-82 is the confirmed score. Charest and McKenna, respectively, here at Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire.
That's all I wanted to say, Steve. Troy told me to say hi to Kelly.
All good. And Nick Charest is off to the right of the headpin. Jamie McKenna, similar story. Both bowlers struggling to find the headpin on the first ball here. In the 8th, Charest overcorrects too much to the left, leaves the center diamond. McKenna on the headpin, pretty ball, but leaves the 6, no mark. Charest is looking at the center diamond for a 10 box and a 6 box guarantee. He'll take 2 for an 8. Jamie McKenna will take a 9. That's 91-9 for Jamie McKenna and 72-9 for Nick Cherest. Three for 9 on the headpin for Jamie McKenna tonight with 1 split. Nick Cherest still working on finding the headpin. Here's Nick Cherest. On the 10 pin, takes the 10 out. Jamie McKenna off to the left, takes the 4 and the 7 out. Here's Nick Cherest. Bit of an odd release there, is off in the gutter. Jamie McKenna on the 1-3 pocket, takes all but 2. No mark for either bowler. It looks like the first game is going to go to Jamie McKenna at this point. Nick Cherest will punch, that'll be a 5. That'll be 77. First game, Jamie McKenna will take an 8. That'll be 99 in the first game. Jamie McKenna will take the first game. 77-99, a difference of 22. And those scores are confirmed here at Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire. Jamie McKenna in particular went 3 for 10 on the headpin with 1 split, 1 mark, and totaled 9 in fills. But now we switch gears and switch context back to our Class C matchup, our head-to-head matchup. In the Class C world, it's going to be Demetri Dellas and Sarah Wright. Demetri Dellas will lead off first. And we'll fill with 5. Wasn't on the headpin either. Sarah Wright's not on the headpin either. Both bowlers off to the right of the target headpin. Dellas 5 drop for a spare on the pocket. Great idea, but the pins just didn't mix down to take the 4 and the 7. Sarah Wright on the 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8. Oh, and it was a pretty spare by Sarah Wright. You love to see it. 2 spares in a row. Or sorry, not 2 spares in a row for Sarah Wright. Just One spare in a row for Sarah Wright. That's an 8-box for Demetri Dellas. 62 to 68 with Sarah Wright having the advantage of a fill on that 68. Put an exclamation point on that box. Sarah Wright has 3 marks tonight. 4 for 6 on the head pin. Demetri Dellas is 3 for 6 on the head pin. That's a head pin shot and an 8 drop for Demetri Dellas. Sarah Wright filling a spare. That's a 4 fill for Sarah. 72 and 6. Demetri Dellas on the 4 and the 7. He'll get a spare. Right on it. All over it for a spare for Demetri Dellas. Sarah Wright, 1, 3, 6, 8, 4, 7. Oh, and it almost goes. All but the sleeper pin fall for Sarah Wright. She's been right on the target when it mattered. Sometimes the pins just don't fall no matter how good you are at aiming. Sarah Wright will check 10 for 82 in 7. And this is a previous spare by Sarah Wright. I didn't get a chance to show it, but we'll play it right here for you. Look at that. Look at how beautiful that was. The ball on the left sidewall was what took out the 7 pin. Anyways, Demetri Dellas working on a spare right now. It's on the head pin, drops 7, splits 7. Sarah Wright just slightly, ever so slightly off the head pin. Drops 5, 1, 3, 6, 7, 10. Demetri Dellas 7 on the fill, 79 and 7. Wood across the 5, the 6, and the 10. The 5 goes, the 10 goes, the 6 does not go. Sarah Wright on the 1, 3, 6, 7, 10. For a spare, she's just a little off to the right, leaves the 1 and the 7. Demetri Dellas is shooting at a single. He'll take the single, 10, 89 and 8. Sarah Wright's on the 1 and the 7 for a 10-box, 8-box guarantee. Head pin 1 and the 7 pin in the back left corner. Sarah Wright fires. She's on the head pin. Mixes around, but she'll take a 9 for 91 and 8. Sarah Wright narrowly has the first game against Demetri Dellas in the 8th. A difference of 2. Dellas. Oh, he's off to the right. Half Worcester and a friend. Sarah Wright in response. This could be big. The difference was only 2 in this game. And Sarah Wright, that's going to be a head pin shot and a split of 7, just like Demetri Dellas' shot, a 5, 6, 10. Dellas hoping to connect with the pocket or the right of the head pin. He connects with the pocket. Takes the left side, leaves the 6 and the 10. No mark for Demetri Dellas in this critical part of the first game. Sarah Wright has a difficult spare on the 5, 6, 10, but she could play the wood on the left, and she's chosen that. And will it go? Oh, it was just a little bit too forward, too frontal. Leaves the 10. Dellas on the 6, 10. That's another 10 for Demetri Dellas, his second in a row. 99 and 9. Sarah Wright's also at 99. Or no, sorry, she's at 100, excuse me. Math is fun. Sarah Wright for the 10-box. It will be a 10 for 101 for Sarah Wright. So again, a narrow lead, a difference of 2, getting passed around between Sarah Wright and Demetri Dellas. Demetri Dellas, our away bowler from Boutwell's Bowling Center in Concord, New Hampshire. In fact, let's talk about Demetri Dellas while we have a free moment here on the Atlantic Candlepin Singles Tour. Demetri Dellas has a season record of 110 and 44 with 11 matches played. His home record is 66 and 18. That's a 3.67 win-loss ratio. When he's away, though, he is only 1.69 on the win-loss ratio, 44 and 26. His season average is 112.44. Home average 114.7. Away average 109.72. So Demetri Dellas struggles a little bit more on the road compared to when he's bowling at home at his family-owned lanes of Boutwell's Bowling Center in Concord, New Hampshire. For the season, Demetri Dellas has a high single of 159 and a high series of 630. That's really high, I gotta say. 35 strikes, 134 spares, 132 tens for Demetri Dellas, 54% perfect box percentage, and 61.84 seasonal total pins. Demetri Dellas is the second place in Class C North Division 2. He's the number 5 seed in Class C North overall when we start talking about playoff contention. So he's not a division leader, which means he has to fight for a wild card spot. So he's in the wild card, needless to say, being the 5th seed, he is the top of the wild card. He has 7 matches over 550, 2 matches over 600. He has 1 out of 11 matches that's a shutout victory. That's 14 points, where the opponent takes 0. And 8 out of 11 matches with double-digit wins. Demetri Dellas is off to the right of the headpin. Sarah Wright. Dellas with a 5 drop, Sarah Wright with a 6 drop. 1, 2, 8, 9. Here comes Demetri Dellas. 1, 2, 4, 7, 9. Clears out 3, leaves 2. Sarah Wright for her mark. She's right on it. It was the right kind of full shot, but she left the 8 on the deck. No mark for either bowler. It might be Sarah Wright taking the first game here, but let's see what Demetri Dellas can do. That'll be a 9 for Demetri Dellas, putting him at 108. Sarah Wright with that 9 is guaranteed to take the first game now. 10 box for Sarah Wright. That's 111. We'll double check the scores. 108 to 111 is confirmed. Sarah Wright will take the first game against Demetri Dellas by a difference of 3. It's a difference of 22 between Nick Cherest and Jamie McKenna, 77 and 99 respectively. So that's the story of the first game. We're going to be moving on to the second game here now, as we just reset and get everything ready to go here on the Atlantic Candlepin Singles Tour. Again, great to have you along. It's going to be Jamie McKenna on your right, starting out first. To the left of the headpin. And that's Nick Cherest on the headpin, and that's a strike for Nick Cherest. After taking a warm-up game, Nick Cherest is on the board with a strike. Second bowler to do so tonight. Jamie McKenna still working on pins down there. Leaves the 6 and the 7. For a 10 box, it'll be an 8 for Jamie McKenna. Let's see that strike by Nick Cherest. Look at that. On the 1-2 pocket, everything goes. The 5 drops, and then the 10 drops. That was Nick Cherest's strike. So Jamie McKenna now looks to respond. Possibly with a strike of his own. McKenna. On the 1-2 pocket. Oh my goodness, it was almost the same pattern of strike that Nick Cherest just had. Cherest for the double. Oh, and he's just off by a little bit, but he gets another ball for the fill. McKenna split 5-7. And it goes. That was a pretty spare by Jamie McKenna. Nick Cherest will fill that strike with 6. 16 after 1. Jamie McKenna 18 and a bonus after 2. Cherest 1, 2, 4, 9. We'll leave all but the 9 for a 9 box. 25 after 2 for Nick Cherest. Let's review that spare by Jamie McKenna once again on the 5 and the 7. Watch that go. Punches the wood by just enough to kick off to the left. So here's Jamie McKenna on the fill. 1-2 pocket, drops 7, fills 7, good fill. But it's a split though. 4, 5, 7. Cherest takes a few, leaves the center diamond, the 7 and the 10. McKenna on the 4, 5, 7. He's off to the right, tries to play the wood, but the wood doesn't really do much for him. Nick Cherest will leave with the 1 and the 3 on the deck. No mark for either bowler. McKenna will check 9. Cherest will take an 8. 33 after 3 for Cherest and 34 after 3 for McKenna. Checking for a score correction. because something is not in sync down there. Looks like Demetri Dellas is on it, so I believe it should be 33 after 3 for Nick Cherest, and it is. Confirmed. Automatic score system at Leda Lanes. Every once in a while, it just misses a pin or two. McKenna drops 6, leaves the right side 4 horsemen. Oh my goodness, Cherest was on the head pin and got a bit robbed. Left the right side diamond and the 4 and the 7. Sometimes that happens. You can't blame yourself when you hit the head pin and you get a shot like that. Something I've had to... I was talking with JJ Cherigny actually about recently because JJ had a rough night in the Friday Night Pro League, but Mark Ritchie was confirming. He said you were hitting the head pin, you just weren't really getting the breaks. And that can happen. Just can't let it get in your head. That's a 10 box for Jamie McKenna, 44 after 4. That's a 6 box for Nick Cherest, 39 after 4. Jamie McKenna in the driver's seat at the moment in the game by 5 and in the total by 27. He took the first game, 99 to Nick Cherest's 77. And just had to remind Nick Cherest that he had one more box. Caught me off guard for a second. I thought we were, thought I was a box off, but nope, I was not. All right, Jamie McKenna. Left to right, crossover. Not on the head pin, 6 drop. 1, 2, 5, 7. Nicholas Cherest off to the right. Lemon drops the 6 pin. That's a lemon drop. First ball punch out on the 4 with the 6 pin. $1 donation to Candlepins per cancer per occurrence. And Jamie McKenna, hands on head, misses the object pin. Nick Cherest will punch a few more out. No mark for either bowler. It's still going to be mostly in Jamie McKenna's favor right now. Going into the second half of the second game, there'll be a 9 for Jamie McKenna at 53. Nick Cherest, a 4 box or greater. He's got the 1, the 5, the 3, the 7, the 9, the 10 to deal with for one last ball. So he's got a maximum of a 49.5. But he's going to have to work for it. It's a rough leave. We'll see what Nick Cherest can do. Oh, and it almost all goes. That was a great attempt by Nick Cherest. 48 after 5 is his half. Compare that to Jamie McKenna's 53 half. Both bowlers with 1 mark on the board and 2 headpin shots. Jamie McKenna has 1 more split than Nick Cherest. 2 to Cherest's 1 this half. Here in the second game, the Atlantic Candlepin Singles Tour. It'll be Sarah Wright on the right. Demetri Dellas with a headpin shot. Drops 8. Sarah Wright's looking at the center diamond and the 6. She's just a little bit off. Only punches the 2. Oh, and there was a sleeper back there. Did not see that sleeper. And Demetri Dellas misses a spare. Leaves the 4 and the 8. Sarah Wright, a little bit off. Takes a 7. Dellas will take a 10 box, and that will be a Paul Grant special for Demetri Dellas, and wish you missed the second and get the third. Candlepins per Cancer is laughing all the way to the bank, and for a really good cause. Check out Candlepins number4cancer.com. We'll talk more about Candlepins for Cancer later on in the program. Sarah Wright starts off to the left of the head pin. Drops 6. Demetri Dellas hard ball on the head pin in the pocket. Drops 7, splits 7. Sarah Wright on the 1, 8, 9, 10. We would call this a split if the head pin was not down, but the head pin, or if the head pin was down, but the head pin is not down. And Sarah Wright will take 1. Dellas 7, 10, 4. Takes the left side. No mark for either bowler. Sarah Wright on the 1, 8, and 10 pins. Demetri Dellas on the 10 pin for 10 box for both bowlers. Sarah Wright will start first for her offer. She'll take a nice 10 box, and so will Demetri Dellas. 10s all around. 20 after 2 for Dellas, 17 after 2 for Sarah Wright. Sarah Wright on lane 12 starts out. On the 1-3 pocket, drops 9. Leaves the 5 pin. Demetri Dellas is on the head pin, drops 6. Leaves the right side diamond. So Sarah Wright can play the 5 directly or play the wood. Bowler's choice. Mark Ritchie always suggests never play the wood if you don't have to. But Sarah Wright did, well, I think Sarah Wright intended to play the 5, but she went towards the wood and it wasn't the right shot on the wood. But Demetri Dellas will take the diamond, and the diamond wins for Demetri Dellas. That's remarkable because the diamond shot is much harder than it looks, and on the old Channel 5 show, Don Gillis, he always said, the diamond wins again, but it doesn't win this time. Demetri Dellas defeated the diamond, and look at this replay of him doing precisely that. It was a nice, hard, full shot. Demetri Dellas defeating the diamond on lane 11 here at Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire. It's Tuesday night in this Atlantic Candlepin Singles Tour doubleheader, head-to-head action. It's a split for Sarah Wright, a 4-drop, awkwardly enough on the head pin. Dellas was way off target. Drops 4, 1 wiggly pin for Phil. Sarah Wright's got the 7, 9, 10, 5, 6, 3. And she plays the right side lightly on that wood. And Dellas, he almost cleans up for a spare, but can't quite get the double spare, that is. It's Sarah for a 6 to 10 box, and it will be a 9. That'll be a 10 box for Demetri Dellas. Demetri Dellas is perfect this half so far. Has not left any pin behind. 3 10s and a spare. 3 for 4 on the head pin with 1 split. Sarah Wright 2 for 4 on the head pin with 1 split. Here comes Sarah Wright. To the left of the head pin, she'll take a half Worcester on the 2 and the 8 pins. Demetri Dellas on the head pin. Split 7, 4, 6, 3. Sarah Wright on the Worcester, the half Worcester. Coined by a WCVB Channel 5 TV tournament where someone wasn't bowling so good and he was from Worcester. And when he was getting shots like that, there was a joke from either the commentator or the audience saying he's halfway back to Worcester. Both bowlers missing their marks and leaving 2 pins on the deck. Sarah Wright on the 1 and the 4, I believe. She'll almost clean that up for a 10, but she'll take a 9, and Demetri Dellas will do that as well, and that's the half for our bowlers. And that will be 53 after 5 for Demetri Dellas and 44 after 5 for Sarah Wright. Jamie McKenna and Demetri Dellas with the same half, 53. Sarah Wright with a 44 and Nick Cherest with a 48. Back to Class D. It's going to be Nick Cherest starting off with a 9-drop, a nice 9-drop for Nick Cherest. And here comes Jamie McKenna to the right of the head pin. Mixes down 9. Wow. Nice mix. That'll be a spare for Nick Cherest on the single. And Jamie McKenna also with a pretty spare of his own. 2 spares all around for both bowlers. 63 in a bonus for Jamie McKenna in the 6th, and 58 in a bonus for Nick Cherest in the 6th. Cherest will take down 5. And Phil with 5. Oh, and Jamie McKenna way off target. Phil's with 1 on the 7 pin. And 2 more out for Nick Cherest. Leaves the 1, the 2, and the 9 pins. Jamie McKenna always on the head pin, and the second ball should have been the first, but he leaves the 4. Would have been a great fill if it were the first ball. Nick Cherest will take a 7. Jamie McKenna will clean up for a 10. Great janitorial work. 70 to 74, Cherest and McKenna respectively in the 7th. Nick Cherest, 3 for 17 on the head pin with 1 split. Jamie McKenna, 5 for 17 on the head pin with 3 splits. Nick Cherest drops 7. Leaves 1, 2, 8. Jamie McKenna off to the left of the head pin, but mixes down 7 of his own. 1-3-8. Or 1-3-9, excuse me. And Cherest will take the head pin, and only the head pin. McKenna on the mirror image shot also takes 1 pin. Rough goings for both of our bowlers. They're both shooting for 8s, 9s, or 10s now. Cherest will take another out. Frustrating box. I can't blame him either. McKenna. Also, similar story. Those shots were just insanely frustrating. Both fought hard for 9 boxes. In the 8th, 79 for Cherest and 83 for McKenna. Here comes Nicholas Cherest to the right of the head pin. Drops a few. Jamie McKenna on the head pin, nearly a strike, leaves the 4, drops 9. Cherest is off target. McKenna on a single on the 4 pin. No wood. And he's just a little bit off. It's going to be an 8 for Nick Cherest. Jamie McKenna, meanwhile, he'll miss twice. 9 box. 92 for McKenna, 87 for Cherest in the 9th frame. With 1 to go before we sit, Nick Cherest has a season average of 93.38 when he's home, 94.12 home average. When he's away, and he's away tonight, he has a 92.64 average. For the season, his high single 111, high 5, 503. He's off to the right, drops 2. Jamie McKenna on the 1-2 pocket, drops 8, narrowly avoids a split. The 6-10 for Jamie McKenna. And Cherest a little bit full on the head pin, leaves 4 on the deck. Jamie McKenna, oh, the wood and the ball. Bonk heads, leaves the 10. No mark. Jamie McKenna beside himself on that one. Cherest will take 2, leave 2 for an 8 box. 95 second game and a 2-game total of 172 and a 9 box for Jamie McKenna. And for a 101, he'll take the second game. And that will be a 2-game total of 200 for Jamie McKenna, averaging 100. Jamie McKenna's taken both games. Second game 101 to Nick Cherest 95, has the total by 28. That's a story for those 2 bowlers. And now we have Mr. Dellas and Ms. Wright. Here are Leda Lanes. Stay tuned. Dellas was off target, off the head pin. Dropped a few. Sarah Wright's on the head pin. And gets a banana split for her efforts. 7, 10, 4, and 6 pins with wood across the 4 and the 7, as well as the 6 and the 10. Dellas had the 1, 7, 10, 6. He missed the 1 and took everything but the 1. Sarah and the banana. Takes 1, leaves 3. Dellas is shooting at the head pin for a 10 box. And he'll get it. 63 and 6. Sarah Wright's got the 7, 10, 6 to deal with for a 10 box, 7 box guarantee. She'll play the 6 and the 10 with wood across the 6, and it only takes the 6. That'll be an 8 box for Sarah Wright, 52 and 6 for Sarah Wright, and 63 and 6 for Demetri Dellas. Scores are confirmed. All the way around, I might add. Demetri Dellas is way off target to the right, but drops 8. Leaves the 1 and the 8 on the deck. Sarah Wright, meanwhile, is off to the left as well, but not as good. 6-pack and the 7. Dellas for a spare leaves the 8 on the deck. And Sarah Wright on the 1-3 pocket. And will it go? Will the 5 go? It almost didn't drop, but it dropped. Little dance of the 5 pin down there. And Demetri Dellas takes a 10. So let's see that replay of that shot. Watch this go on the 1-3, and then the wood dances around the 5 and taps it multiple times. It almost doesn't go, and then it falls at the very last second. Awesome shot by Sarah Wright. Edge of your seat spare.
So my turn to commentate?
If you wanna. We got Nick Susi here.
Here we go. We got Demetri throwing his first ball. Right on the 1-2 pocket. Leaves everything but the 3 and the 6. Here we go, Sarah. On the 1-3 pocket. Leaves the 5 and the 8. Demetri going up for his second ball. Can he get this spare? And there we go. Here comes our replay. Sarah just missed it.
Play the replay in just a moment. I just try to do it when the pin setter's going.
You gotta do it right away.
Yeah, you're like.
And she gets the 10. There we go.
All right, now for the replay on that. It's just a full shot, no nonsense on the 3 and the 6, and it goes.
We're gonna replay everything.
Oh yeah. When I remember to hit the button at least. Dellas on the head pin drops 7, drops 8. And Sarah Wright on the 3-6 pocket leaves 5 on the deck. 1, 2, 4, 7, 8. 3, 5 for Demetri Dellas. All nudges the 3, leaves the 5.
There she goes. Can she get it? Just missed it. Can they both get the 10 though?
Stay tuned and find out.
There we go. There's Demetri. That wood messed her up.
And it appears there might be a score correction. I'm going to follow the bowlers. It looks like it was a 7 fill for Demetri Dellas rather than an 8, at least according down there. It's 89 for Sarah Wright in the 9th, and 109 for Demetri Dellas. Both bowlers missing their head pins. Thank Nick Susi for dropping in for some commentary. Nick Susi also bowls in the ACST. So Demetri Dellas is looking at the 1 and the 10. Sarah Wright's got the 1, 7, 10, 2. Dellas on the 110 first for the spare. And it's an air ball. Thunk in the back. Sarah Wright, same thing. It looks like Demetri Dellas may potentially take this second game. We'll see. That's an 8 box. 108. That will be the second game for Demetri Dellas. Sarah Wright on the 1-2, 7-10. And that's a situation where you wish the second ball was the third. She'll take a 10 box. Oops. There we go. And anyways, so it's going to be 108 in the second for Demetri Dellas. And 99 for Sarah Wright. Those scores are confirmed. 216, 2-game total for Demetri Dellas. If I can click all the correct buttons. And 210, 2-game total for Sarah Wright. It's a difference of 6 in the total between Demetri Dellas and Sarah Wright, with Demetri Dellas having it by 6. And took the game by 9. So game 2 is done. We're going to move on to game 3 with Nick Cherest and Jamie McKenna. They will be with you shortly. Your call is very important to us. I'm Steve Kelly for the Atlantic Candlepin Singles Tour. Great to have you along. Here in the broadcast booth with occasional guest stars such as JJ Cherigny and Nick Susi. So the ball, the highlight ball goes to Nick Cherest. He splits 5-7-10. Jamie McKenna with a pile of pins down there and takes a few, leaves the 7-10. Cherest on the 5-7-10. Takes the 5, leaves the 7-10. 7-10 splits for both of our bowlers. They got to pick a stick. Jamie McKenna tries the 7, but can't get it for an 8 box. Nick Cherest. I believe that will be a foul. I'll preemptively put it in as an 8. We'll see what the bowler's call is. And it appears it will be a 9, so I will mark it as 9 until I see otherwise. Again, bowler's call, not the streamer's call. Jamie McKenna, a quarter Worcester. And Nick Cherest will split 8, 5-7. Jamie McKenna on a quarter Worcester. Not even a half Worcester, a quarter Worcester. He's got a bouncy ball. 1-4-7-9. Cherest, that's off to the left, but it's on the deck. Takes the 7. Leaves the 5. 10 boxes all around. It'll be McKenna first. It'll be a 6 for McKenna. Painful 6. And a 9 box for Nick Cherest.
Can I get a replay on that? Did that just go through the 1 and 9?
I don't think so. I mean, not through it, but around it.
Oh, I thought it went in between them.
Probably. I don't know.
It. Let's go replay Jamie McKenna.
I mean, I can only replay it if I press the button, you know. It's not always. It's a 3-finger salute. Explain to Jamie McKenna, I can't replay everything. It would be cool if you could replay everything, but, you know, that would make life too easy now, wouldn't it? Jamie McKenna for a spare, and these pins are dancing around. The 3-7-9 are left on the deck. Nick Cherest took the back right 3-drop candlepin corner, and the second ball sailed right through that void. McKenna with a nice 10 box, though. 10 for McKenna, and a 5 for Cherest, leaving the bucket of 5 on the left. Let's look at this 10 box, though, by Jamie McKenna. He played the wood to get the little hockey puck kickover. It was just, I just thought it was a neat shot. Not a mark or anything, but just neat. Jamie McKenna off to the left. Drop 7. Cherest takes the 7. McKenna's got the 1-8-10. Oh, and he's a little bit on the head pin. A little bit too much on the head pin, that is. Nick Cherest on the pocket, takes all but the 4. No mark, though. That'll be an 8 box for McKenna in 32 and 4. And Cherest will take a 9 for 32 and 4. They're tied. Despite the struggles, it's an even game. Jamie McKenna has a high single of 120 and a high series of 531 this season with 14 strikes, 81 spares, and 110 tens. 37% perfect box percentage and 5,393 seasonal total pins. Jamie McKenna is second place in D North Division 1 and the 6th seed in D North overall in the wild card. No headman shot for either bowler here to start off the 5th. McKenna on the head pin, tries to take out what's left of the partial half. Worcester leaves 3. McKenna, he takes all but the 7. Or sorry, Cherest takes all but the 7. McKenna will take a 7, leaving, he's off target on the left side, back candlepin corner. Check out Candlepin Corner on YouTube, by the way. Produce some great stuff. Jordan Britton, Chris Waterman, and crew, they produce the Skin Show. Do a bang-up job. Cherest for a 9 or 10 box on the 7. Perpendicular wood to the 7. And it goes. That's a 10 box for Nick Cherest. And that might break the tie a little bit, at least in this game. 42 after 5 for Nick Cherest. Jumping ahead of Jamie McKenna's 39 after 5. Both bowlers struggling for marks and for headman shots. Jamie McKenna took the first 2 games. Back to Sarah Wright and Demetri Dellas to start out this 3rd game. Sarah Wright will begin first. Sarah Wright's in the red. Demetri Dellas is in the black. Sarah Wright leads off. Crosses over. A little bit too much of a crossover. Demetri Dellas, similar story, but drops 8. Sarah Wright drops 5. 1, 3, 4, 7, 10 for Sarah Wright, and the 1 and the 8 for Demetri Dellas. Sarah Wright sails off to the left, leaves the 1, the 3, and the 10. Demetri Dellas has the 1 and the 8 to deal with for a mark. Oh, and he tried the full shot, but bounced off a little bit too much. Right. On the head pin. And we'll take an 8. Dellas, speedball, but speed got him nothing. It was just a 9. Sarah Wright tonight, 9 for 21 on the head pin with 5 splits. Demetri Dellas 11 for 21. Demetri Dellas 11 for 21 on the head pin with 4 splits. Sarah Wright is off to the right. Dellas will take the head pin for a 6 drop. The right side check mark, 5, 6, 3, 10. Sarah Wright 1, 2, 4, 7, 9. She'll kick the wood behind the object pin, leave 3 on the deck. Dellas will take 2, leave 2. Sarah Wright will take a nice 10 though, 18 after 2. And Demetri Dellas will take a 9 for 18 after 2. All scores confirmed the whole way down. Like, you'll love to see it. Demetri Dellas and Sarah Wright are close in the fills, totaling 27 and 25 respectively. Sarah Wright has a higher average fill average of 6.3 versus Demetri Dellas' 5.4. Wright with a split, Dellas with the bucket of 5. Wright will fire first. A light hit, a thin hit, 4-6-3. Dellas a little off target, takes 2, leaves 3, 3, 6, 10. Sarah Wright's got the 3-4-7 for a 10 box. That'll be a 7. And a 7 for Dellas as well. 25 love across both bowlers this game in the 3rd frame. Demetri Dellas has 1 more headpin shot than Sarah Wright, but it's not, saying all that much when it's only 2 to 1 after 3 frames, but, details. Sarah Wright has more splits than Demetri Dellas tonight. Nick Cherest and Jamie McKenna are tied for 3 splits apiece. Sarah Wright's off to the right. Dellas, same story. Sarah Wright, 4 horsemen left side in the 10. And she's a little bit too full on the 1-2 pocket. Dellas 1, 2, 7, 8, 10. Takes all but the 10. Right. On the 7-10, oh, a nice 10 box by Sarah Wright. And Dellas, I think that will be a fouled 9. Double check in a moment, but look at that. Let's look at this again. Sarah Wright getting the 7-10 with the wood. Getting the kick and the spin kick for Sarah Wright. And the score correction appears to have gone in. And the scores are confirmed, 34-35, Dellas Wright, respectively. Sarah Wright will lead off. She's in the 1-3 pocket, drops 8, drops 9, leaves the 5. Piece of 1 on the 5 could be a layup spare. Dellas. Fast ball, drops 7, 1, 7, 8. Sarah Wright's got the 5 pin to deal with. Piece of wood across it. Shoot anywhere in its general stratosphere, and it should go, and it does. Dellas, hard hit on the head pin, leaves the 7 and the 8, no mark. Eight, 9, or 10 for Demetri Dellas. I believe that's going to be a fouled 8. We'll double check, but I'm going to preemptively key it in as such. And that should put Demetri Dellas at 42 after 5, and 45 in a bonus for Sarah Wright, and that is confirmed. Always like to see that. Hope you're enjoying this match here at the Atlantic Candlepin Singles Tour. I'm Steve Kelly on the call. Doubleheader action tonight, head-to-head. It's going to be Nick Cherest and Jamie McKenna. Already in progress. Cherest drops 8, but wasn't on the head pin. Got a nice mix. McKenna takes only the 10 pin out. Nick Cherest. Oh, and that's a nice spare by Nick Cherest. And Jamie McKenna almost answers. But can't quite do it. Eight box for Jamie McKenna and a spare for Charest. Let's take a look at that shot by Nick Charest once again on the 1 and the 8. And that was how it went. And that was how it goes. So we have Nick Charest on deck for a spare here in the 7th of this, halfway through the third game, and he's on the head pin and he drops 9. Leaves the 5 on the deck. McKenna's off to the left. The Nick Cherest versus the 5 pin for a spare. And he's just a little bit off. Doesn't get it. And Jamie McKenna is right on the object pocket, but the pin goes between the 4 and the 7. No mark for either bowler at this time. Cherest will take a 9. McKenna will take a 9. 70 and 7 for Cherest, 56 and 7 for McKenna. Nick Cherest, 6 for 27 on the head pin tonight with 3 splits. Jamie McKenna, 7 for 27 on the head pin with 3 splits. Nick Cherest on the head pin right there and splits it up. 4-6. McKenna off to the right. 1, 2, 4, 8, 10. This is Nick Cherest with the goalposts. Play the 4 in some way, but he's off to the left a little bit too much. Takes only the 4. McKenna is off target. Both bowlers without marks here in the 8th. But Nick Cherest will clean up and take his last stick out for a 10 box, 80 and 8. Jamie McKenna looks to get an 8, 9, or 10 box on the 1 and the 10. It will be 8. 80 and 8 for Cherest, 64 and 8 for McKenna. 2 boxes to go before we assess the 3 game totals for our bowlers. In Class E, at least. Class E for excellent. Here comes Nick Cherest. Takes a few off the right side. Jamie McKenna mixes down a lot of pins. Mixes down 9. Everything but the head pin fell. Cherest will take 1 more out. Jamie McKenna is off target. It was a gimme. Probably just needed to aim that ball just a little bit more. Cherest takes all but 1 for a 9 box, and McKenna will miss it twice. That's 89 and 9 for Cherest, and 73 and 9 for McKenna. Nick Cherest is in good positioning to take the 3rd game. We'll find out what happens here in the 10th. It'll be a difference of a mark if both bowlers can figure that out, or if either bowler can figure that out. And Cherest will open up with a 5 drop off to the right. McKenna on the head pin. And splits 7 after the dust settles, 3, 7, 10. Nick Cherest. He'll leave 2. Jimmy McKenna can do something here. That'll be big, but he just Can't connect with the object pin. Sails into the void. Cherest looks down on his release there. Misses for an 8. 8 boxes all around. It will be the second game for Nick Cherest. 97 to Jamie McKenna's 91. 3-game total of 269 for Nick Cherest and a 3-game total of 281 for Jamie McKenna. In the third game, it's a difference of 12 in favor of Jamie McKenna, or 16 in favor of Nick Cherest, excuse me. Jamie McKenna has the total by 12. Now to switch gears here, back to Demetri Dellas and Sarah Wright. Dellas will leave 5 on the deck. Sarah Wright's working on a spare. Sarah Wright's on the head pin. Split 7. Oh, you could do that all day. And that's a spare for Demetri Dellas on the 5 as JJ tries his hardest to distract me, but I cannot be phased. Sarah Wright just misses the final pin for a spare. We'll get a replay for Demetri Dellas' mark in just a moment here. Sarah Wright for the 10. It'll be a 9. Let's see if I got that replay queued up here. Which was all while JJ was distracting me. Demetri Dellas on that 5 drop, and it all goes. Dellas working on a spare. On the 1-3 pocket, it looked good. It looked like a bomb. There was fire in that shot. He splits 8. 5-10. Sarah Wright. On the 1-2 pocket, nearly a strike. Drops 9. Let's look at Demetri Dellas' shot. It's the 5-10. Piece of wood rolling out a play past the deadwood line for Sarah Wright as Nick Susi goes down to retrieve it. Dellas, a little bit too full. Or too hard, one of the two. On the 5, left the 10. And I don't know why it always happens here at Leda Lanes, but it's always Nick Susi going down to do something down there on the lane, so I always feel obligated to talk about Nick Susi while he's doing that. So, Nick Susi, you heard him on the microphone just a little bit a while ago here, and he is one of the hardworking folks here at Leda Lanes, and he was actually bowling a league tonight, but he's kind of doing double duty. And he's actually doing the correct rulebook thing in which a pin that has rolled out of play cannot be removed until it is actually completely done rolling. So we'll see here on the bigger, wider shot here. You'll see that piece of wood is still active and still moving. And it looks like it's finally settled, so Nick Susi's going down to retrieve it. It really decided where it wanted to go for quite some time before it finally went. That's a story of deadwood and how it can be removed, and we always thank Nick Susi for seemingly always being the one to clean up the mess that our bowlers produce, myself included. Anyway, Sarah Wright. Oh, into the gutter, and that will be a fouled 9 box. 70-7. Demetri Dellas on the 10 pin for a 10 box with an 8 fill on the spare previously. Bouncy ball, but it's a 10 box. 70-7 love for Demetri Dellas and Sarah Wright in the third game here. In the total, Dellas has it by 6, 286 to Sarah Wright's 280. Very close match between our two bowlers here in Class C. Class C. Classy. Class C. And we're waiting on something.
Steve, show replay of that. What? You didn't see?
No.
She launched it into the other lane.
Oh, jeez. Figures I didn't have the shot on that. I was talking about something else. So apparently Sarah Wright launched the ball into another lane.
No, not the ball, the pin.
Or a pin into the other lane, excuse me. Oh, jeez. Well, I'm sure we got it on the shot in some way. We'll have to check that out, but... Anyways, wow, yeah, I don't know how I missed that, but Demetri Dellas dropped 7 on the 7, 8, and 4. Sarah Wright Drop 6, 1, 2, 4, 8. Dellas on the 7, 8, 4. First spare could be a layup right there. And it is. That's a spare from Demetri Dellas, 80 and 8. And a bonus. To be continued. And Sarah Wright will do the same thing. And I don't know if I got both. Nope, I couldn't quite get both in the same capture, but there's Sarah Wright's spare once again. Everything goes. Started with Demetri Dellas working on his spare. To the right of the head pin. It's a fill of 5. Sarah Wright on lane 11. On a 3, 6-ish pocket. It's a fill of 4. Disappointing fills for both bowlers. Demetri Dellas. Oh, he's just a little bit off to the right. 1, 2, 4, 7, 10. Sarah Wright's got the 1, 2, 4, 7, 10, 8. Sarah Wright all right on it, but the 10 doesn't go. So it's a great bid by Sarah Wright. Demetri Dellas all the while. Oh, and it goes. And Sarah Wright will take a 9. Just double checking that was a 10 box. Yes, it was. Demetri Dellas. In this two-pin difference between our two bowlers, Demetri Dellas currently has it by 2. And the total is a difference of 8. So this is a big competitive difference right now between our Class C bowlers in particular. Between Nick Cherest and Jamie McKenna, it isn't that far off either. Jamie McKenna only has a total by 12. And he's taken 2 out of 3 games. Nick Cherest took 1. So, again, everything is quite competitive right now. No blowouts, no runaways. But I think we're pausing for something down there right now. So, anyways, that always happens every now and then. So where are we tonight? We're at Leda Lanes. Busy and bopping Leda Lanes here in Nashua, New Hampshire on Amherst Street since 1959. Tons of things to do. I'm currently broadcasting from the billiards section. And, sorry, Paul Mativier came up and asked me a question. Leda Lanes is home to a lot of different things, not just bowling, but also cornhole, which is, just look behind me, is in progress in a different part of the building. There is, of course, billiards, which is where I'm standing in right now. There's arcades here. There's Kegler's Den. Awesome food, awesome drink. Leda Lanes hosted the International Candlepin Men's World Championship in 2024 in November. And we're still waiting on something down there, so more B-roll it is. And in Kegler's Den, there's also stuff such as poker and karaoke. Leda Lanes was the former home of WNDS Candlepin Stars and Strikes, the old TV 50 show, for those who remember. And if you don't remember, you can always check it out all over YouTube, because I think we're approaching nearly every episode of Candlepin Stars and Strikes being available on YouTube. So if you ever want to go back and just relive the entirety of the old days of Candlepin bowling when it was on broadcast television, check it out on YouTube. Particularly Wolfman12395 on YouTube has a very impressive archive of those episodes, and not only Stars and Strikes, but also the Channel 5 Candlepin Bowling with Don Gillis show. Demetri Dellas will split 8. Sarah Wright will split 4 with a spread eagle. Dellas on the 5-10. Sarah Wright with the traditional 4-pin academic spread eagle. Dellas throws a very hard fast ball. Wanted to kick the 5 to the 10, but he was just off by less than inches. Sarah Wright sails right through the center. Dellas on the 5-10. He'll take an 8. Sarah Wright's looking at a 4-box or greater. Dellas with a 103. Sarah Wright will clean up for an 8, but it won't be enough for the third game. It's going to be 103 for Dellas and 101 for Wright. And all these scores are confirmed. 319 3-game total for Demetri. Dellas, 311 3-game total for Sarah Wright, a difference of 8. Nick Cherest, 269. Jamie McKenna, 281. And that's the end of the third of this 5-game series. We're going to be moving on to game number 4. And our Class E bowlers will lead off. In just a moment. And that just a moment is just now. Jamie McKenna's off to the right. Nick Cherest off to the left. And Jamie McKenna, not on target, but mixes down pins to the 1 and the 5, to the tune of the 1 and the 5. Cherest is off to the right. 1, 3, 9, 4, 7. McKenna will take a 9-box. And Cherest will take a 5-box. The old 5 to 9 for Jamie McKenna, who will be on your right in the blue from the perspective of the rear camera. And Nick Cherest in the navy blue shirt. I know the lighting isn't perfect, but dark navy blue shirt on the left. Jamie McKenna to the left of the headpin, drops 6, drops 7. And Cherest mixing down 8, 3, 7. Let's see what Jamie McKenna can do. Takes the 1, takes the 3. The 9 is unharmed. Cherest on the 3, 7. Sails through the center into the pit. McKenna. He's off target as well for a 9. And Cherest will take 8. Nick Cherest, 8 for 32 on the headpin with 5 splits. Jamie McKenna, 8 for 32 on the headpin with 4 splits. Both bowlers relatively even down to the granular stats, so it's a nice competitive match tonight between these two bowlers. And between Dellas and Wright as well. McKenna will drop 6. 5, 6, 3, 10. And Cherest is off to the right, takes the 10 out. And gutter ball for Jamie McKenna on the right side. Cherest on the headpin, nice splash of pins. Leaves the 7 and the 8 on the deck. 7 and the 9, excuse me. McKenna will take an 8-box for 26 after 3. And Nick Cherest. We have a bit of a slow ball return, so that's why we have some awkward pauses here tonight every now and then. And Nick Cherest will take down 1 for a 9 for 22 and 3. Hope you're enjoying this match. I'm Steve Kelly on the call for the Atlantic Candlepin Singles Tour and 3-ball spare conglomerate. Hope you subscribe to the Atlantic Candlepin Singles Tour page on Facebook and YouTube if you like this content and want to see more. That's a 6-drop for Jamie McKenna. And Nick Cherest not on the headpin, drops 8. 1 and the 8 are left on the decks. Jamie McKenna's got the 1, 3, 6, 8. McKenna fires. Oh, and he'll take everything but the headpin. Nick Cherest wild pitch to the right. So it's Jamie McKenna versus the headpin. And he'll take it for a 10. 36 and 4. Cherest off to the right once again. That'll be an 8-box for 30 and 4. Jamie McKenna has 6 out of 11 matches with double-digit wins this season. 23.67 for 50 headpin average per match. 13 split average per match. So tonight's a little bit under par for him so far, but, you know, you never know what could happen. He drops 8. Nick Cherest is off to the left of the head pin. Way off on the 7 pin. Nick Cherest has 10 strikes, 46 spares, 65 tens, a 30% perfect box percentage, and a 4,669 seasonal total pinfall. It's a 9 box for McKenna and a nice cleanup of an 8 box for Nick Cherest. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Now it's a 9 box for McKenna. I got 1 ball ahead. So to be continued for Cherest. Oh, and it actually will be that. 38 after 5 for Cherest and 45 after 5 for Jamie McKenna. And it... Well, I'm waiting on a score correction. I'll let you know when I know more. And it is... Okay, it is 38. Confirmed for Nick Cherest. And 45 after 5 for Jamie McKenna. Back to Class C, Sarah Wright and Demetri Dellas. Sarah Wright with a nice, awesome 9 drop to start out. Demetri Dellas will split 7. Sarah Wright's got the 6 pin to shoot at for a spare with some wood slightly to the right of it. Perpendicular-ish, but off to the right. And Sarah Wright, doesn't matter, she'll take that out for a spare. Demetri Dellas will take 2 and leave 1. Dellas on the 4 pin. He'll be a 10. Ten after 1 for both bowlers. Demetri Dellas has a 10, and Sarah Wright with a spare in the first. Here comes Sarah Wright. All right on the head pin and a little bit too full. That's going to be a 3-pin spread eagle. Dellas with a 3 drop as well, but it's a half Worcester plus a friend. Sarah Wright on part of the eagle with talons, and she'll take a few out, leaving 4 on the deck. Dellas punches through the center a little bit too much. And Sarah Wright will take 3, leave 1 for a 9 box. 22 and 2. And Dellas will leave 3 on the deck for a 7, 17 after 2 for Demetri Dellas. Demetri Dellas in the lead in the head pins, 17 so far, followed by Sarah Wright. Sarah Wright in the lead for splits, 9, with Demetri Dellas following up with 7. Demetri Dellas will be a late falling strike. The 10 pin really doesn't want to fall, and it does not. One of those shots that really should have gone, but sometimes they don't. Sarah Wright, though, with a nice spare. Sneak in a replay for that in just a second here. Demetri Dellas on the 10 pin. I'm sorry, that was a spare for Demetri Dellas. What am I saying? Anyways, here's Sarah Wright's spare. Went into the twilight zone for a second there, but that was Sarah Wright's spare. They're both on spares. 27 for Dellas, 32 for Wright. Both bowlers are on a bonus. Sarah Wright will start first. She's on the head pin. Drops 6 with a banana split. 6 drop. Demetri Dellas to the right of the head pin will drop 6, leaving the right side 4 horsemen. 6 fill for both bowlers. Sarah Wright will take 2 more out, take the right side, right half of the split. Dellas will take 2, take the center of the horsemen, leave the 1 and the 10. Sarah Wright will take 1 more out for a 9, 47 and 4. Dellas will take 8 for 41 and 4. Waiting on the score correction to make sure that is correct. And yes, it is. Sarah Wright, when she's away, has a season record of 38 and 74. She's off to the right of the head pin there. Demetri Dellas to the right of the head pin as well. Working balls for both. Sarah Wright has a perfect box percentage of 46%, 66-31 seasonal total pins. No mark for Sarah Wright. Demetri Dellas, he's off target as well. No mark for either bowler right now. Dellas will take an 8 for 49 and 5. And Sarah Wright with that 9 boxes at 56 and 5. So a difference of 1 between Demetri Dellas and Sarah Wright in the total in particular. Difference of 7 in the game. Difference of 7 in the game between Jamie McKenna and Nick Cherest, and a difference of 19 in the total. That's the story of midway through the 4th game here at the Atlantic Candlepin Singles Tour. Here comes Nick Cherest, wasting no time. He'll split 7, looks like. And McKenna, we've seen a lot of this tonight from Jamie McKenna, where he's just had some corner shots that just were way off target. Nick Cherest will take nothing on that 2-4-10 split. Jamie McKenna, though, second ball. That's another thing we've seen in common for Jamie McKenna tonight, where the second ball should have really been the first ball. Cherest will take an 8. And Jamie will take a 9. 54 and 6 for Jamie McKenna, 46 and 6 for Nicholas Cherest. And those scores are confirmed the whole way down. Leda Lanes opened in 1959. More than half a century ago, owned and operated a family bowling center in Nashua, New Hampshire. And that's Jamie McKenna with an 8 drop. A split. Nick Cherest has a working ball. Leda Lanes features all-wood approaches with all-wood lanes, sensor-based automatic scoring, Cubica AMF BES. Charest with a second ball that results in a 5-7-10 split. And Jamie McKenna's got the 7 and the 10 to work with for ball 3. Leda Lanes has 36 lanes, 18 on each side of the house. And, ooh, the 5 and the 10 go for Nick Cherest. But it's going to be 9 boxes for both of our bowlers. 55 and 7 for Nick Cherest. 63 and 7 for Jamie McKenna. Both Jamie McKenna and Sarah Wright have yet to find strikes tonight. Nick Cherest and Demetri Dellas know where they're located. Nick Cherest mixes down 8. And McKenna's on the head pin, drops 7, drops 8, drops 9. Spare leaves for both of our bowlers. It's the 1 and the 10 for Nick Cherest. He'll fire first. Oh, and he crossed over too early. He released towards the center and crossed over to the left. And that's a spare for Jamie McKenna. He can capitalize on that one. And Cherest will take an 8. This could be a moment for Jamie McKenna to pad his stats in the total, or at least try to pull ahead in a critical moment in this match. We'll see what happens. But Nick Cherest will start first on lane 12. Ball is right on the head pin. A good crossover ball there. Nate dropping a split. Oh, and McKenna again with those balls that are just going off to the left. It's a 2-fill. For 75 and 8. Nick Cherest too much to the right this time. And Jamie McKenna will take all but 2. Cherest on the 3-pin. It'll be a 9-box. McKenna will take 8. 83 and 9 for McKenna, 72 and 9 for Cherest. We'll have Nick Cherest leading off. And he'll mix down what appears to be 7. Jamie McKenna will drop 7 as well. Splits for both of our bowlers. 5, 7, 10 for McKenna. 3, 6, 7 for Cherest. Cherest has the better spare leave, but he is off to the right and sails into the gutter. And McKenna, not much he could have done with the 5, 7, 10, aside from going for a stick. But he misses them all. That'll be a 9-box for Cherest for an 81 fourth game. And a 9-box for McKenna, a 92 fourth game. Jamie McKenna will take the 4th game. At least I think so. It appears to be a 90 for Jamie McKenna. 81 is the score for Nick Cherest. It appears to have been marked as a 7 for Jamie McKenna up there in the 10th, so I forget if that was me or them, but I'll go with the boulders. So it'll be a 90 for Jamie McKenna in the 4th. Anyways, back to Demetri Dellas. Apparently someone was working on a triple strike a couple lanes down. Sarah Wright, though, with a strike. That's a hammer right there. Demetri Dellas working ball. Almost converts it for a spare. Leaves the 3 on the deck. Demetri Dellas has a 27 for 50 headpin average per match and a 12.33 split average per match. It's a 10-box for Demetri Dellas, 59 and 6. Sarah Wright, 66 in a bonus, and here's Sarah Wright's strike. I think I have enough time. I may have to cut this short, but we'll see. Look at that go. It all goes. That was Sarah Wright's strike. And Demetri Dellas off to the right, leads the 6-pack. Check his ID. Or off to the left, excuse me. Right side 6-pack. Sarah Wright for the double. A little bit too full. Splits. Wow, 4-drop? What a weird shot. I saw Dominic Palladino with that similar split just earlier this morning. Not this morning, earlier this evening. Dellas can't spare the 6-pack. He drinks responsibly. Sarah Wright will fill with 6 on the strike. Dellas. Oh, and there goes the 6-pack. That's a miss the second, get the third situation. It's a Paul Grant special alert. And Sarah Wright will take a 9-box. For 81 and 7, 69 and 7 for Demetri Dellas. And speaking of Candlepins for Cancer, while I'm still thinking of it, check out Candlepins for Cancer. Candlepins number 4cancer.com to sign up for qualifying roll-offs or to donate. Great cause, great charity, run by great people. And there's tournaments as well. If you want to sign up for a tournament, there will be sign-ups on their website when they are available. They just wrapped up the ladder series at Riverwalk Lanes in Amesbury, Massachusetts. But be on the lookout for the next roll-offs and next tournaments. For assisting bowlers in the Candlepin community or in help of cancer treatments and all that. Will that be a spare? A late falling spare for Demetri Dellas. Wow. Very slow moving spare. I think I got it on replay. We'll see what that shakes out to be in just a moment. It's 9 for Sarah Wright. Let's see if we can get that on the board all the while. Look at that slow moving wood. had to wait quite a while, but it was worth the wait. Demetri Dellas working on a spare. On the head pin, 1-3 pocket. Zips 6 down. Sarah Wright takes a 6-pack on the right side. Dellas, 2-4-7-8. Takes 2, leaves 2. Sarah Wright, similar story. Leaves 1 in the deck, though. And that's a nice 10 box for Demetri Dellas. And I might have a score correction I might need to catch up on. I'll let you know in a moment what's up with that. Am I caught up? I am caught up. Okay. Sorry about that. Just had to update a few scores. Again, I'm following the bowlers on their electronic scoreboard down there. Every once in a while, I'm just off by a pin or two. It is 109 for Sarah Wright and 94-9 for Demetri Dellas. And those are confirmed. Demetri Dellas to the left of the head pin. Drops a few. Working ball. Sarah Wright to the right of the head pin, similar story. Dellas 1-3-6-7-8. Oh, and it was a pretty spare by Demetri Dellas. Get the replay for that in just a moment. Sarah Wright thinking about her spare shot now. She's on the head pin. Will it go? Oh, and it goes. Awesome spare by Sarah Wright. Here's Demetri Dellas' spare. They were just far enough apart where I couldn't quite capture both at the same time, but look at that. Bam. Demetri Dellas with an action-packed spare. Sarah Wright's was more methodical and a little bit slower, but it still went. It doesn't matter how fast or how slow it goes, just as long as it goes. And my apologies for having to pick which replay I had to display, but they were both fantastic. Dellas is working on a spare. And he's off to the right, a 3-fill. 107. Sarah Wright will take the 4th game. Dellas needed those pins, but he had a misfire. Sarah Wright on her fill. It's just extra bonus gravy at this point. 5-fill, 115 for Sarah Wright, I believe. And 115 to 107 in the 4th game for Demetri Dellas, and that is confirmed. 4-game total, 426 for both Sarah Wright and Demetri Dellas. They are tied in the total. And Demetri Dellas and Sarah Wright both have 4 points apiece, so they are exactly tied going into the 5th game. That is going to be really exciting. Nick Cherest is at 350 after 4. Jamie McKenna, 371 after 4. Jamie McKenna currently has 6 points to Nick Cherest 2, but the difference of the total is only 21. So plenty of potential upsets or, Super Bowl-style comebacks, heartbreaks, whatever it is, coming up in the 5th and final game, which is worth a potential 6 points, depending on how it ends up shaking out, because it's your last chance to go for the 4-point bonus for grand total pinfall. So stay tuned for that. Cherest with a 6-pack. McKenna with a working ball. McKenna misses the mark, leaves 1-7-10. Cherest on the 6-pack takes a few, leaves a few, drinks responsibly, takes 3. Both bowlers shooting for 7 boxes or greater. Jamie McKenna will take 7. And Cherest will take 9. Start out the 5th game, first half. Nick Cherest is currently 4th place in Class D North Division 4, 15th seed in D North overall. Nick Cherest has 2 matches this season with double-digit wins. Had 20 for 50 head pin average per match, and 9 splits on average per match. McKenna drops 6, Cherest drops 1. Lemon drops it. Jamie McKenna. Oh, and on the spare, he's just a little bit off the target pin. Leaves the head pin. And a mix down of Mix down of everything but the 1, the 2, and the 3 for Nick Cherest. Jamie McKenna will leave 1 on the deck for a 9 box. Cherest will take 8. 17 after 2 for Nick Cherest and 16 after 2 for Jamie McKenna. Nine spares across Demetri, Dellas, and Sarah Wright. 2 spares for Cherest, 4 spares for McKenna. And that'll be a 6-7 drop for Jamie McKenna on the head pin. Cherest, punch out on the center, 3-pin spread eagle with a talon. McKenna on the 3-6-10. Spare leave. Gutters it. And Cherest on the 3-8-10, or leaves the 3-8-10 from that talon spread eagle split. And McKenna will take 8 for 24 and 3. That will be 24 in 3 for Nick Cherest as well. Both bowlers are tied, keeping it competitive. Jamie McKenna, again, with a season record of 84 and 70. Nick Cherest, 46 and 94 for the season. And Jamie McKenna on the head pin, nearly a strike, leaves the 4 on the deck. Nick Cherest to the left of the head pin with a left side half Worcester. And the wood deflects the ball against Jamie McKenna's spare attempt. Hardbreaker there. Nick Cherest sails through the void of the left side half Worcester. McKenna will take a 9 for 33 and 4. Nick Cherest will poke 2 more out for a 4 box, a painful 4 for 28 and 4. McKenna 33 and 4. Those scores aren't confirmed all the way around. You're just tuning in. This is the Atlantic Candlepin Singles Tour, season-long series of one-on-one candlepin bowling matches between challengers organized into classes and divisions competing for playoff contention, traveling all around New England, or New Hampshire and Massachusetts, more specifically. That's an awkward split for Jamie McKenna. And a 5 drop for Nick Cherest. Jamie McKenna, not much you could really do with that. Leaves the 5 and the 6. Cherest is way off to the right. No mark for either bowler. McKenna shooting for an 8, 9, or 10 box. It'll be 8, 41 and 5. Cherest will take a 6 for 34 and 5. 34 to 41. Difference of 7 in the game in Jamie McKenna's favor. Jamie McKenna also has the total by 28 going into the final 5 boxes of the match. And I do have a score correction. It appears to be 33 for Nick Cherest. I'll double check where I went wrong. There. I'll correct that in the background because we're going to be moving on to Sarah Wright and Demetri Dellas. Sarah Wright will split the center down. Demetri Dellas will almost do the opposite on the same kind of ball. Appears Cherest had a 5 box in the 5th for 33 and 5. That's a score correction. No mark for either bowler. Wow, Demetri Dellas, I thought he was going to get that, but the wood deflected the ball. Sarah Wright will take 1 in for a 7 box. Demetri Dellas is looking at a 9 box or 10 box and a potential PGS. But he won't get the PGS. He'll take a 9 instead. Demetri Dellas, 21 for 41 on the head pin tonight. That's just a little over 50% with 8 splits. Sarah Wright, 20 for 41 on the head pin with 12 splits. Very similar stats overall. Sarah Wright, a little too full on the head pin with a split, drops 6, 4, 6, 3, 7. Dellas on lane 11. punches down the center in almost a reversal of fortune. He has now the 3-pin taloned spread eagle. Sarah Wright just a little bit off of the 3-pin, was trying to kick it at an angle, but sailed off target a little bit. Dellas takes 3, leaves 4. Sarah Wright will take 2 and leave 2 for an 8 box. 15 and 2.
Can I make an announcement
Demetri
that
Dellas.
has something to do with ACST?
Go for it.
So as you guys may know, JJ Tarigny, yeah, he hasn't been bowling so well. He's gotten under his average 3 Tuesdays in a row.
That has been a special announcement and a public service announcement from Nick Susi, courtesy of JJ Tarigny. Just for anyone who needs to know. Sarah Wright splits down 6.
One more quick announcement. He started this league in probably the first couple months with a 117 average. He's now at a 109. That tells you how bad he's bowling.
Definitely some points of improvement to speak of. JJ's making the greatest face at me right now. I love it. No mark for either bowler. Sarah Wright's working on an 8, 9, or 10 box. Demetri Dellas is working on a 9 or 10 box. Sarah will take 9. Demetri Dellas is shooting at the 7-pin for a potential 10 box. And he'll get that 10, I believe. 26 and 3 for Dellas, 24 and 3 for Sarah Wright. Those scores are confirmed. Hope this broadcast finds you well, everyone involved here, from the bowlers to the staff you cannot see all around. Appreciate your viewership and interest in the sport of candlepin bowling as a whole. I might ask you to go to candlepin.org and click Go Bowling if you live in the area. That is Northeast United States, New England, or Eastern Provinces of Canada. Check out the sport of candlepin bowling if you think this is your thing. You think you can bowl better than anyone you see here tonight. And Sarah Wright, no spare, leaves the 1 and the 10. Demetri Dellas on the 3, 6, 7 for a spare. And he's a little bit full on the wood in front of the 3. Takes only the 3, the 6 and the 7. Still there. Sarah Wright will take a 9. 33 and 4. Dellas on the 6, 7. It'll be a nice 10 box. Nice cleanup for Demetri Dellas for 36 and 4. Demetri Dellas has been perfect on the head pin, but has had 3 splits out of 4 boxes. Sarah Wright has been perfect on the head pin and perfect on splits until the 4th frame, where she broke the streak of both. Here comes Sarah Wright. On the 1-2 pocket, drops 8, leaves the 6 and the 10. Dellas straight on the head pin with a split. Sarah's on the 6-10. For a spare. And it goes. Sarah with a methodical spare. It was looking a little bit dicey there for a few seconds, but it did go. Dellas punches the 4 out of the eagle on one of its wings. Be a 5 box or greater for Demetri Dellas. For the 10 box, ooh, wow, a nice pretty one. He almost cleans up. It'll take a 9. Here's Sarah Wright's spare all the while. There it goes. And that's the half, actually. So let's take a look and assess the scores. 45 to 43 is Dellas and Wright, with Wright on an open mark in the 5th. Nick Cherest at 33, Jamie McKenna at 41. As we approach the final 5 boxes here on the Atlantic Candlepin Singles Tour. And we'll be starting out immediately. Here's Nick Cherest. not on the head pin. McKenna with a split. That's a spare for Nick Cherest. And I think I'll get a replay. Oh, Jamie McKenna almost answers. Nearly does the same thing. And McKenna, 9 or 10 box. It'll be a 9. And here's that shot by Nick Cherest, though. Right on the center, and it goes. That was Nick Cherest's spare. Nice ball, nice shot. Nick Cherest. Now we'll work on that spare. It's on the 1-3 pocket. Oh, will be a strike on spare. It's a strike on spare for Nick Cherest. Key that in. And Jamie McKenna with a split of his own drops 8. 8-10. He'll pick a stick. He'll pick the 10, leaving the 8. He's going to choose the 10-box route. It's always safe to do that if you don't want to lose any pins. In a team setting, that's often a better option. And McKenna will take 10. Let's look at that spare from, that strike on spare for Nick Cherest all the while. That shot on the 1-3 pocket mixes it down. The 2 and the 5 with the last to fall. Piece of wood coming off the left sidewall to take it all out. Nick Cherest currently on fire, 63 and a bonus. Jamie McKenna will, Nick Cherest will fire first. Excuse me, on the 1-3 pocket, almost a double. Splits 8 so far, 1 ball to go on this fill. Jamie McKenna on the 1-3 pocket, and he'll answer with a strike of his own. Nice job by Jamie McKenna. We'll get a replay on that in a second. Nick Cherest, oh, he's a little bit off. It's one of those situations in the competitive scene. You got to try not to let that get to your head if someone does a so what shot. And that's a nice 10-box for Nick Cherest, though. Missed the second, get the third. And here's Jamie McKenna's strike. And glorious 80-ish% slow-mo. Look at that. It just goes. Both bowlers coming alive here in the last half. Nick Cherest will fire first. Nick Cherest at 81 and 8. Jamie McKenna 70 and 8. And he'll punch 1. Ooh. And had to respot, it seems. Bit of a mishap there for a brief second, so just respotting the pin setter. All right, now Jamie McKenna on a strike. He's just a little bit off the head pin, but he mixes down 8. Good fill so far of 8. We'll see if he can follow this up. 110, no wood. No helpful wood, that is. Nick Cherest is on the head pin. 3, 4, 10 on the deck. McKenna. Oh, and he'll take an 8 on that strike fill. He'll sail through the void. No spare on strike for Jamie McKenna. 78, McKenna 81, Cherest in the 8th. That'll be a 7 for Cherest, 88 and 9. And a 9-box for Jamie McKenna puts him at 87 in 9. Every bowler with double-digit splits tonight except for Jamie McKenna, who's still back at 9. Sarah Wright, the most unlucky so far at 14, followed by Demetri Dellas. Jamie McKenna, Nick Cherest off to the right. He'll be 14 for 50 on the head pin tonight. Jamie McKenna will be 18 for 50 on the head pin tonight. Final ball. Our final spare shot for both of our bowlers. Two drops so far for Nick Cherest. The 6 and the 9 were taken out. He's on the head pin. Almost mixes down everything. The 2 and the 7 are left. Jamie McKenna, oh, and he sails through as well. So no mark for either of our bowlers to close out their match tonight. It looks like it'll be Jamie McKenna taking the match. Nick Cherest will finish with an 8 for 96. Jamie McKenna, 6 box or greater. It'll be a 7. It'll be a 94. So Nick Cherest will take actually the 5th game, but Jamie McKenna will retain the match. And that means Jamie McKenna will take 10 points to Nick Cherest's 4 this evening. 446 5-game total for Nick Cherest and 465 5-game total for Jamie McKenna. That will be the situation. But anyways, back to our Class C matchup tonight. Demetri Dellas and Sarah Wright. Demetri Dellas will start first. And he punches hard. 4-drop spread eagle and a split. Sarah Wright is working on a spare. 43 and a ball in the 5th. Sarah Wright. Off to the right. Mixes down 7, though. So not bad overall. 50 and 5 for Sarah Wright against Demetri Dellas' 45 and 5. And this match is close, so any fill, any advantage you can get, it's going to be big here. Sarah Wright for a potential spare. Oh, and she plays the head pin, but she gets deflected. It's a hard shot, the 189. 2, 3, 4, 7 for Demetri Dellas. He'll take the left half. Well, the left side, that is. Leaving the 3. Both bowlers shooting for a 10 box. Or, excuse me. No, 9 boxes for both. What am I saying? 54 and 6 for Demetri Dellas and 59 and 6 for Sarah Wright. It's been a long day. 59 and 6 for Sarah Wright, 54 and 6 for Demetri Dellas. Before we go, I want to say a couple special thanks to our Class C treasurer Anthony Karen and Class D treasurer Nate Lees, our ACST committee members such as Danny Finn, our El Presidente and league commissioner, our statistician Micah Imparado. That's an 8-drop for Demetri Dellas and a 6-drop for Sarah Wright. I'd like to thank the staff at Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire, Nick Susi for the pin removals earlier, Alexis Booley for helping us set all this up and dealing with our scheduling madness in the ACST. I'd like to thank Steve Abodeely for some of the B-roll and photography. Check him out at stabodeely.com, stabodeely.com. Some of his shots, some of the more prettier shots, are the B-roll that he shot with his fancy high-res, high-frame-rate cameras. So check his work out outside the bowling world as well. Stabodeely.com. That's a 10 box for Demetri Dellas and Sarah Wright with a 10 box as well. 64 and 7 for Demetri Dellas and 69 and 7 for Sarah Wright. And I do have one correction. It seems Jamie McKenna had a 93. Looks like he had a 6 box in the 10, so I'm going to correct that just to match what the bowlers have. It doesn't make a difference, but in the totals or anything, but or the point distribution, that is. That's a 9-drop for Demetri Dellas. Sarah Wright to the right of the head pin. Drops 6. 1, 2, 4, 7, maybe? The 2 falls late. Dellas on the 6 for a spare. And that will be a spare for Demetri Dellas on the single. He's been perfect this game on the head pin. That's remarkable. Sarah Wright on the head pin takes only the head pin. On the 4 and the 7. Here at Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire on this Tuesday night. Closing out this match here at the Atlantic Candlepin Singles Tour. Hope this was a pleasant viewing experience for you. I'd like to thank viewers like you for watching as always. And that's an 8 box for Sarah Wright all the while. If you enjoyed this content and like what you saw and want to see more, I invite you to strike, comment, and subscribe to the multiverse of Candlepin Bowling, such as the Atlantic Candlepin Singles Tour page on Facebook and YouTube, the Candlepin Chat Group on Facebook, Candlepin Bowling Network on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram, Candlepin Corner on YouTube and Facebook, at Candlepin Bowling on TikTok, and that's that is a 4-pin spread eagle for Demetri Dellas all the while. Down the center. Wanted a bomb of a strike, but kind of got not quite that. Sarah Wright with a 6-pack. There's also Outrun the Bear on Facebook and Instagram down in Millis, Massachusetts at Ryan Family Amusements. Check out their channel for not only the tournament, but also a bunch of other fun content and shorts and TikTok-y kind of stuff. There's Alley Chat on YouTube and alleychat.net for the Friday Night Pro League recaps. There's Wolfman12395 on YouTube for classic Candlepin matches and old archive footage, all that kind of stuff. It's going to be no mark for either bowler. Demetri Dellas shooting at an 8, 9, or 10 box. And it looks like it's going to be an 8. 86 and 9. Sarah Wright for a single for a 10. It'll be, ooh, wow, a nice 10 box. She said she was aiming for the pin, but ended up careening off course and hitting the wood, capping it for a 10 box. 87, 86 is confirmed. 86 for Dellas, 87 for Wright. In the 9th. It's a very close 5th game here. And the total as well, 512 to 513. Sarah Wright has it by 1 in both the 5th game and the total. That is going to be huge. It's going to be a lot of points. 6-point differential comes down to this last box. A 1-box roll-off. Dellas off target. Sarah Wright can close it out and put it away right here on the head pin with a strike. Could be big. And she's just a little bit off. Both bowlers just ever so slightly off the head pin, but Sarah Wright with a 7 drop. Dellas with a left side 4 horseman, 1, 2, 4, 7. They're both makeable spares. Dellas might have a slightly easier time with this. We'll see. This will be big. Again, a difference of 1 in Sarah Wright's favor. And will he get it? He got it. Arms out. Arms out, bro. He did it. That's a spare for Demetri Dellas. Sarah Wright needs this spare. Oh, no. And that might be 6 points for Dellas. A big swing at the end of the 5th here. That might be huge. He's at 96 in a bonus. Sarah Wright can get to 97 with a 10 box. He'll be a 96. 522. Demetri Dellas is just a fill away from taking the 5th game. And they are tied in the total, I might add. So Demetri Dellas, he fought hard. And this fill, unless he gutters it, I don't think that's going to happen, but, you know, never say never. And the final fill on the head pin, and yep, that will put it away. That's a 7 fill for Demetri Dellas. And that will be the match in favor of Demetri Dellas at the very last frame. He went 9 for 10 on the head pin in that game. 529 to Sarah Wright's 522. So Demetri Dellas is going to take a lot of points. Anyways, let's assess the final stats here. Just give me one moment to send the stats to the main computer. That Pentium 3 is doing hard work tonight. Here's the final stats. Yes, Demetri Dellas took those last 6 points in the literal final box of the 5th game. 529 to Sarah Wright's 522. It could have been 10-4 in either direction all the way up to the 5th and final box. But, wow, Demetri Dellas pulls out the win at the final second like a Tom Brady in Super Bowl 49, like a Malcolm Butler interception kind of situation. 58% headpin percentage for Demetri Dellas versus Sarah Wright's 46. Nick Cherest will take 4 points to Jamie McKenna's 10. Jamie McKenna, 36% headpin to Nick Cherest 28. And let's see, where are we going to look in terms of the records? That means Nick Cherest will go to 50 and 104. Jamie McKenna will go to 94 and 74. Demetri Dellas with 10 points will go to 120 and 48. And Sarah Wright will go to 79 and 117. And that will be the end of the match for us here at the Atlantic Candlepin Singles Tour. So, hope you enjoyed this match. If you like what you saw and want to see more, check out the World of Candlepin Bowling, Candlepin Bowling Network on Instagram, YouTube, just as we spoke earlier. There's the TikTok for @Candlepin Bowling, @Candlepin Corner on YouTube and Facebook. The Atlantic Candlepin Singles Tour, the hub is on Facebook. There's also a YouTube page. 3-Ball Spare, that's my channel on YouTube, as well as Facebook and Twitch.tv. Candlepin Chat, that's the big kind of discussion hub for Candlepin things. AlleyChat.net for Friday Night Pro League recaps and the like. And there's the Candlepin Bowling channel and Wolfman12395. If you're into podcasts, there's Ripping the Rack, the podcast, and The Approach, the podcast. There's Tony Levesque on YouTube and TikTok, Charlie Collins on TikTok. There's, again, my channel, 3-Ball Spare. I'd appreciate it if you check out my content over there that I run, YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook, whatever your fancy. Then check out Candlepins for Cancer, of course, run by Al Johnson and Paul Grant. Candlepins for Cancer, candlepins4cancer.com to sign up for qualifying roll-offs or to donate. And the donations always go to a great cause, so check it out. If you ever see Paul Grant in person, he has a bunch of shirts, hats, and all kinds of other stuff. If you want to flaunt the C4C swag, check that out. And again, check out candlepin.org and click Go Bowling to find your nearest center. If you look at the map and you live in New England, there is no excuse not to check out Candlepin Bowling everywhere you go. So anyways, I've been Steve Kelly, and I think we've covered everything for Nick Cherest, Jamie McKenna, Demetri, Dellas, and Sarah Wright. I hope you enjoyed this broadcast, and we'll see you at the next Atlantic Alpine Singles Tour. Have a great one, everybody. Good night.